What is going on YouTube? It's Brendan from Market Makers, your home for Wyckoff and Advanced Fibonacci TA. What is today, the 22nd? It is Wednesday. Man, I've been up so late looking at charts, looking at trades. Guys, I swear I'm getting like 3-4 hours of sleep every night. The Telegram blew up. Thank you guys so much. Guys, the Telegram, if you want to be there for trade signals, in the video description. BITGET in the video description for all the cryptos, and SimpleFX for equities, commodities, and Forex in the video description. And to join our Discord with 10,000 other people. We started a Discord a year ago this month with 12 people. Now it has 10,000. That link is the join button right underneath this video. Let's talk about what happened today. Powell came before Congress, Fed Chair Powell. Basically, nothing really too important to say. Kind of the same thing he went over at the presser, guys. It did affect the marketplace. The markets were opening negative in the broader markets. Looking at the S&P here on my chart, as you guys know, we longed the S&P yesterday, got a nice 2.5% move, and then it was retracing, and then with Powell talking, the markets liked it and it started going back up, as you can see, hit a peak, and now in the after hours it's been descending some. So something that we're watching. The markets are extremely choppy, guys. One thing that was interesting, and I brought this up in my Inflation Nation video, if you guys haven't watched that yet, I put that out a couple days ago. It's not a chart video, it's going over inflation in our country. Powell was asked if inflation was high before Ukraine, before the war. And because the other side of the aisle, the Democrat side, kept saying Putin's price hike, which was the message that President Biden's been putting out there. And again, he reiterated that today. And the Republican Congress or senator that was questioning Powell said inflation was 7% before Putin invaded Ukraine, and it went up to 8.6 after. So it went up 1.6%. And Powell himself said, yeah, inflation was very high all of last year. So again, just understand the packaging, guys. I'm not making this political. I'm just telling you, when the Fed keeps talking about the conflict in Eastern Europe and you hear it from the government, that's all the blame game. They're just trying to play the blame game. What happens is when you print money, when you print $13 trillion, like we went over in the Inflation Nation video, guess what? You get inflation. You inflated the money supply. And it was interesting because the rebuttal to that was, well, all the other countries in the world have inflation too. That's true, because you know what they did? They all printed money. They all had 0% or negative interest rates, just like the Fed. The Fed leads the way. Why are we talking about this? Because it affects crypto, guys. That's why we're talking about this. Let's look at the DXY real quick. So broader markets whipsaw. They do have a higher low structure going. We'll see which way they bend tomorrow. Looking at the DXY, just like we talked about before, guys, found support here at the 104 spot 100, and you do have this nice double top structure if it would break down below here and really start descending, but that's probably a big ask given the current environment we're at with these big rate hikes coming in. The dollar seems to be staying pretty strong. I wouldn't be surprised if after the next rate hike, guess what happens? After the next rate hike, we start coming back up to that 105 and breaking through there. Because again, you raise rates, you increase the strength of the dollar, right? Inflation kills the strength of the dollar. The reason this is relevant for the new subs, this is relevant because if you have a strong US dollar, you will typically have weaker equities and you will have weaker crypto, okay? Inverse relationship. Let's go ahead and go to Bitcoin. Weekly, nothing to show you here except for the fact that we're under the 200, under the 233, using the Gann fan line of support. Something interesting to note, I saw I saw a report today on TV on the business news on CNBC. They had a crypto guy on, and he was saying the selling volume and the sell-offs is 3 times greater than the buying volume and the rallies since I guess January this year. So he said it's the first time in the history of Bitcoin. The selling volume is basically 3xing over the buying volume and the rallies, which would explain like this candle. Look at it. It's just sitting there. It's not doing anything on the weekly time frame. It's not very big. It's just sitting here hovering on this magical Gann fan line. Look at that. There's nothing, no reason it should just be sitting here, but it's hovering right here on this Gann fan line below your 200, below your 233. Let's look at the daily. Oh yeah, I want to show you guys, a lot of people requesting about my Ichi Cloud. Also, I'll show you a little cool trick that I found out here too. So my friend Donovan Wall Let me show you my Ichi cloud first, okay? Because you guys want to know the settings, and this is really hard to type in the YouTube comments. It's called Ito Heiken Ichimoku, DW. You can just type in DW if you want, or Donovan Wall in TradingView. You'll get his indicator list. The guy, if you read any of the white papers on his indicators, I mean, he's a professional Forex trader, and he's a programming genius. But anyways, so if you open that up, guys, or click on that, you'll be able to download Ichi. Let me show you my settings. You can pause this video and look back at it because Ichi has a lot of settings, so it's easier to do it this way. My filter type is volume weighted moving average, but I don't use the moving averages. But VWMA, if I do use the moving averages, I use 13 and 55. Again, both of those are, that's 13 is my fast moving, 55 will be my slower moving. Both of those are Fibonacci numbers. Everything I do is pretty much circled around Fibonacci. I check filter Chiku span, and then let's go to this. I don't change any of the other stuff. Now I turn off my moving averages, your TK and your Kiju. I turn both these off. I leave the Senku span A, Senku span B. These are the actual clouds, okay? These spans, I leave these checked, okay? So I leave these two checked. I turn off Chiku, it's a trailing line. I turn off bar color because it lights your bars up different colors, hate that. And then the Kumos, you can change your colors of your clouds here, okay? So that's your quick tutorial on Ichi. And again, you can rewind that if you need that again, but that's everything relevant to it. Now, this line I've been using here is the whole moving average, TGMA. My buddy, he's one of the members in our room, Fractal Trade 15. You guys have heard me say his name many times. It's right here. You see this, Fractal Trade 15? And TGMA is Trend Gradient Moving Average. Go to his page. Lots of our members downloaded it. You can select what type of moving average it is. As you guys know, I use a lot of his Trend Gradient Moving Averages. You can change the colors. You can have them change colors depending on the trend. Neutral, bullish, and bearish, okay? So you can do lots of cool things with them. A whole 55. So I use the HMA 55. Really nice trend line. I really like this whole 55. So I've been using it in a lot of my charts. Now let's get to the TA. So looking here at the daily, if TradingView reloads, come on TradingView. There we go. Looking here at the daily, I went ahead and put this in Wyckoff. As you can see, we're just really very weak action, right? Very weak action. I mean, the volume's really low. It's below the moving average. Volatility is still expanding. It's slowly bottling up. Still oversold. One of my other volatility indicators here is saying this is still a red, meaning that you don't buy here. So not a whole lot is going on here on the daily, and you can see by the candle size themselves, it's just not a lot of price action. Good little scalp trades, but not a big breakout trade yet to the up or downside, right? The whole 55 is moving down. So this will be interesting, but of course you guys know the larger time frame moving averages are up here around 40K, right? So that seems so far away, would require a doubling in the market. So let's go ahead and go forward to a smaller time frame, 8-hour time frame. Again, here's that whole 55, guys. I like this moving average a lot. You can see when it's really good for changing trends. It's not good for chop, but when you have an extended trend, you can find moves in it pretty easily. So we have price going up and down here. Let's go ahead and throw a GAN fan on here as well. Use a GAN fan. All right, if you guys watch my GAN fan video, you'll be able to see how I'm able to lay this out so quickly. I show you the concepts in the GAN fan video, okay? And so here's our 45 across the range, and you can see Bitcoin's making the beginning of a double top. If it comes back up and gets rejected up here again, you could have a double top structure form, break below this 45, and you're coming down with your double top. So just something to be aware of. You want to track along this line here on this 8-hour time frame, right? Track along this line, get up here, make your cup type pattern, and go up. The problem that you have here on the 8-hour, go ahead and get rid of the fan because it's noisy. The problem that you're going to have is your cloud is just above you now. You see this? So your cloud is just above you, so you're going to have a lot of resistance here, which makes sense because my fib wave projection is all right above you as well. You see that? So your 8-hour time frame, your long-term moving averages, 200, 233, are up here at the 1618 at 31K. But of course, on the 4-hour, which we're going to go to next, I think they're down here by by the 27K, which is also the top of the 8-hour cloud. Remember, as we move down in time frames, you're going to see the cloud get closer and closer to price. So looking at our indicators here again, volatility is still not very tight because price is just slowly and slightly waving. All the volume is still below the moving average. Even the RSX is at the median line. Nothing to see here. 4-hour time frame. 4-hour time frame, laid out my GAN fan as well. And if we look at the GAN fan, you look at the cloud. Remember, we talked about this yesterday. It's funny how price is doing that. I told you price may just try to tuck up and run around it, right? And the reason I was able to say that, guys, is because how many times have we seen that happen, right? You move up and then you make a wave fashion. At some point, you'll come up and test the cloud, come back down, try to hold it, come back up, try to hold this, come back up, and then maybe here in this weaker part, you do something like this, right? Come back up, get your cup, and then boom, get out of here. If you can stay in this bullish uptrend, because obviously you are in an uptrend here in a micro trend, right? Not in a macro trend. Macro trend is down. Micro trend, you are in this uptrend. But you got this 4-hour resistance cloud, and I think you're going to try to snake around it because look how much thinner. Let me draw this so you guys can see it because I know it's hard to see the outline. But look how much thinner the cloud gets right here. It even tucks in right here, okay? So again, this would be, June 25th, out to like June 27th, 28th. You're in this thinner part of the cloud over here. If price can stay like this and not do something like that. How do you know if it's going to do something like that? Well, you can use your indicators. You can look at candlestick patterns. Right now, just be aware you do have that beginning of what could be a double top if you just wave back up, right? So you don't want to break your neckline if you do make a double top. But we'll see how this plays out. I think price is going to track along here and try to sneak in through here to this weaker part. And hopefully, because equities are still so oversold, even though they're very choppy, hopefully get some type of momentum. And again, you can see the whole 55 here in the 4-hour time frame. We broke our uptrend and did fall below it, which is confluent as well with the GAN fan. But we got to stay above this 45. If you don't, you're just more biased to come down and test the angle right beneath it for support. And if you don't hold that support, which you need to, if you don't hold that support, you can easily just fall down, right? All these things just get married together, guys. Try to keep my charts really simple. Geometric trading, Wyckoff, Fibonacci. Basically all that I use. And let's look. Did we do this part already? I don't remember. So the 4-hour is still expanded. Again, volume. You had it. Yeah, some of the candles are sneaking up here a little bit above the moving average, but in general, it's been low volume. And you can see the different indicators here. My on balance volume, basically, it's just red. And of course, my volatility is also red, selling signal red. So let's see. Is there anything else I want to see here? I mean, the newbie hasn't changed much. I'll just throw it on really quickly since we are on the 4-hour. We'll go look at the 1 hour and I'll wrap this video up for you guys. So 4-hour, you can see this the supply line lining up really nicely with the cloud, right? So maybe the supply line will do something like this. Just keep drifting over, coming here as price does this. It comes over here, and then everything's going to intersect at the 45 supply line and the thinner part of the Ichi cloud. Who will win that battle? That's what we need to see, right? And then, of course, your long-term moving averages are at 27K, like I said. So when you look at your resistances, guys, if you just bounce back up to your 8-hour, where's your 1 fib? 27K. So your 200 moving average that's been killing you on the 4-hour time frame is right here at the 27K on the 4-hour. So again, this is going to be my first level target if Bitcoin does put anything together at all and try to become more bullish. It's got to pass all these fibs. First of all, 22,762 at the 382.5 at 23,593, 618 at 24,425, and then the 1 fib at 27,116. Again, this is a tighter wave projection, and you can even tighten this up more. When you're trading, you can always tighten your waves, remove waves, do things like this, just like this, right? Because you have the beginning of a wave projection here, but you don't really know if this is your base or not. But you can take what you have here existing, and you can see you get a whole new set of projections. So that's just something that you can look at. and that's really noisy because I got to take the other one off. You can see you get a whole new set of resistance projections here, and now the numbers get lower, right? And you can see how accurate it's tracking if price is getting rejected at certain levels. I like to use larger wave projections and larger time frames and just carry them over many times to the smaller time frames, but sometimes I'll reforecast it out. I'll throw that back out there on a tight wave like this just to see my immediate resistance, but you can see this as you go through the smaller time frames. 1 hour time frame. What do we got? 1 hour time frame. Man, this chart's noisy. So I have a harmonic here. If we do come up to 21,269, again, this is a very tight wave projection here on the 1 hour time frame. It's basically a Gartley pattern. We've got a lot of stuff going on here. Let me turn some of this off and let's talk about the 1 hour really quickly, okay? And I'll wrap this up so you guys can go to bed. And I can continue to grow out my Monopoly Man mustache. We did have this higher low structure intact, as you can see, all through the range until we peaked out up here right on the Gann fan and collapsed down through the fan, try to come back up, peaked out, and fell back over. So now we're basically in sideways distribution, right? So we're in sideways. We got to see if we can accumulate here, or if this fails, it will fall to distribution. It is a 1 hour time frame. Like I told you guys, I don't typically put Wyckoff in the 1 hour because it can be so rangy like this. I lean more towards my fibs when I'm smaller time frame trading and my long-term moving averages. This is your 200 on the 1 hour. Okay, this is how weak Bitcoin is. Bitcoin came up, got above it, back tested it. You see this? Back tested the 200 twice and then got above it, got rejected, tried to use it as support, fell below it, tested it again, and then fell down. So this is again, and you're almost testing it again here soon, and you may be testing it very soon. This is very weak price action. The 4 hour, yes, we understand, descending market, kiss of death, knocked us down, right? Obviously on the daily time frame, because the daily time frame is very powerful, and when you're in a bear market, you test that 200, you're 233. If you don't defeat it, especially if you're retesting it, reject it again, 47% decline. That's that trade I gave you guys from 48,266, right? But the 1 hour is rejecting us now. Again, very bearish, guys. I mean, it's just very bearish. And now you've reversed the trend. Keep in mind, this is only a 1 hour time frame, but you had your high, you have your lower high, and you have your lower high right now, okay? And then you're having lower lows now as well. So again, the trend's reversed. You were going up here, and now you're going down. This doesn't mean that it's falling apart just yet. Again, a lot of this is going to depend if the equities do fall apart or if they do try to move up and rally, okay? And if I was going to draw that harmonic for you, this is basically a standard. I'm going to draw it first before I say it's a Gartley, but I'm pretty sure it was a Gartley that I had drawn out here. No, it doesn't meet the measurements of a Gartley. I would trade that. This is my pattern, chameleon pattern. There's so many different X5 Fibonacci patterns that this is basically between a bat and a Gartley with this measurement, but the AC totally kills it being a bat or a Gartley. But this fits the measurements for my chameleon pattern. And again, this would come up right here at the 1618, 21,269. So again, this is a very tight wave projection. Okay, how am I getting that wave projection? I'm getting it from this double bottom, basically right here, right? So if we go here, and go here, 21,269. The A, the B, the C. Okay, so this is where we're at on this pattern. If it does come up here, maybe a point of retracement, your 233 is coming down, but I wouldn't trade anything right here unless you see some type of top being made. Again, 1 hour time frame is just not the best judge. We know where the powerful resistances are in the 4 hour time frame, but you can do small trades here. So if we did come up here and test this area, I would definitely take a look. And let me look at the cloud really quickly, since I did have it on and I turned it off. I mean, we're inside the cloud now, right? So we're inside the cloud, got to get back above it, but because we fell back into the cloud, our support cloud, you're getting a red Kumo cloud. Even though it's very thin right now, you're getting a red Kumo cloud, and if price descends, this will turn out and start to get fatter, okay? And if you can get back up there, you may be able to come back up. Hopefully, maybe if you get retracement here, maybe be able to hold it and come back out, right? That's what you're looking to do with price on the smaller time frame. I tried to be fast, and it still took 19 minutes. I'm sorry, guys. I just get sidetracked. Hope you enjoyed the video. Come trade with us, guys. Telegram link, all the good stuff in the video description. Grab those bonuses. BitGet tournament registration ends July 1st. Sign up for the BitGet tournament, guys. It's free. How do you sign up? Download BitGet with our link. You are signed up, okay? And then you'll be in the competition. All right, guys. Another video tomorrow. Talk to you soon. Have a good night.